Okay, hello everybody, this is Big Bang Crypto, my name is Sam, and welcome to a new episode. Now, I think everybody wants to get Bitcoin started. I mean, what is going on right now? It's not really falling, it's not moving upwards, kind of sideways movement, and well, it seems like everybody's waiting for the big move. And in this video, I want to show you some very interesting things, and I think, and I still believe that it will move upwards, and I want to show you why. And I found some quite interesting things. So yeah, but before we get into it, I want to tell you that we have the Discord channel. When you're new to this channel or you didn't join the Discord channel, it is really interesting. I think right now I can say we have a community with a lot of knowledge about cryptocurrencies. We are talking about different things and very good ideas and information. So it is very helpful, and yeah, you should definitely join. Now, let's get into it. Before I forget it, you find a link in the description if you want to join the Discord channel. Now, this is the live chart. It's a 4-hourly chart, and first I want to show you something that is very important. So as you can see, everywhere inside of this big channel, we have this falling wedges, all right? And at some point, we see a breakout upwards. Again, we have this falling wedges, and then we see a breakout upwards. And right now we are seeing a new falling wedge, and let's do it like this. And as you can see, we're getting closer and closer to the corner of this triangle, and yeah, so this means the breakout will happen in the next hours. So let's have a look. I mean, let's say somewhere around that point we'll see a breakout. So let's say in the next 24 hours we will see Bitcoin moving well, downwards or upwards. Now the question is, what will happen? And just to show you something else that I think a lot of other YouTubers are showing you right now, we also have this falling wedge, you could say, or we have this falling wedge. So no matter how you do it, no matter which one you choose, we are very close to the point of a breakout. All right, so something will happen in the next hours. Now the question is, will we move upwards or will we fall? And yeah, I'm trying to answer that question with things that I found in Bitcoin's historical price movement. So we go to the daily chart and go all the way back to 2012. Oh. So there it is. Sorry for that, but all right. Now, what is important? As you can see, I mean, a very important part of the four-wave theory is that after every bull market we see a valley, and after or very close to 1 year before the next halving, we see Bitcoin jumping over the edge of this valley and then starting with the first wave. All right, this is exactly what happened in 2012, as you can see. And now what's very important is, so when we say that this right here is the edge of this valley, then what you can see is that Bitcoin comes down to test this level again. All right, and it doesn't or it didn't fall below this this edge or this line right there. Yeah, So this is one thing that is very important, and we have to keep that in mind. And another thing that is important when I take out the Fibonacci retracement tool, and well, let's say this wave started somewhere at that point when it really started to move up, all right? So when we do it like that, what you can see is, I mean, the information is incomplete, all right? But we will see better information. But at that point, you already can see that it came down to the 78% Fibonacci retracement level, all right? And as well to this line with the edge of that valley. All right. Now, we move on to the next wave. And what is important is the highest point of the first wave. When we take this line to the point of the correction, as you can see, we come down to the highest point of the first wave and test it and then start to move up again, okay? So this is one thing very important, so we didn't fall below it. And when we take out the Fibonacci retracement tool and say, all right, so it seems like at that point this wave really started, go all the way up. Then we see we came down again to the 78% retracement level. Okay, so let's go to the next wave. All right. So what you can see, this is the highest point of the second wave, and when we take this line to that point, as you can see, we didn't even come all the way down to test this high of the second wave. Okay, so this is important. So again, we didn't fall below that point. And when we take the Fibonacci retracement tool and say, all right, this wave really started moving up somewhere from this point on, and we go to the highest point, as you can see, again, we have the 78% retracement level, so we come down, we test it, and then we move away. All right, going to the fourth wave. Now, this is the lowest point, or the correction point, let's say, and as you can see, this is the highest point. When we take this line from the highest point to this point, as you can see, we're getting a little bit closer, but we didn't fall below this point. All right, now we have the first wave of the last bull market. Now we have better information compared to the first wave of that last bull market. And as you can see, this is the edge of that valley. And when we take that line, as you can see, once again, I mean, after 3 years, I think, once again, Bitcoin comes down to this point of the edge, tested it, and then started to move upwards. All right, so when we let that line, I hope you can see it, or let's put a line right on it. So, all right, so this is what I'm talking about. All right, this is the edge, exactly very close to 1 year before the next halving. We see Bitcoin jump over the valley, and as you can see, coming down, testing it, again coming down, testing it, and then at some point starting to move away. All right, so again, recurring similarities, but very important for us right now, because right now we are currently in the first wave. Okay, so, and what is very important for us right now, when you compare this first wave of the last bull market with the current wave, what you can see is after the third test of the channel line, we start to move sideways, all right? Sideways to the main trend line. So right now, after the third test, we moved up very nicely, and then we came all the way down. All right, and this is the point where we are right now, or this is the point. The people think, okay, we don't see upwards movement, so we're coming down. All right, but it didn't really happen. And this is, I think, exactly what we're seeing right now. So we have a big move, and then we see the small waves, and we are moving all the way to the main trend line. So this is something that could happen, could play out in the next days. All right, so be prepared for it. So if you're waiting for a new low, then you might not see a new low, because you see this movement, but we don't fall below this point. Now, what is very important is, like I showed you, we have this point of the edge, and when we put a line like that, as you can see, we come down and test it, but we don't fall below it. All right. And when we take the Fibonacci retracement tool, so let's say from, I don't know, let's say from this point on, for example, or this point on, it doesn't matter, this wave really started. So when we do it like that, as you can see, we came down to the 78% retracement level. Okay, so every wave showing us the same, 78% retracement level. Now, let's move to the next wave. And again, what is very interesting between the first and the second wave, something we've seen in the last bull market, when we take a look at the height, at the highest point of this wave, and put this line up there, as you can see, the correction of the second wave, we didn't fall below this point. All right. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's have a look. So we take it. Yeah, as you can see, we come down, we test it, but then we move away. So very important again for us when we see the second wave in the next month. All right, so this is the next wave, and take out the Fibonacci retracement tool. So I don't know what you want to say where this wave started, because, well, this is kind of consolidation. So I just say from this point on, I think this is okay, or going a little bit lower, doesn't matter. So yeah, as you can see, we come down to the 78% retracement level, not that point, but that point. We come down, this is somewhere around 65%. So coming again very close to this zone. So as you can see, this zone plays a big role when we made a nice move upwards and then see the correction. And now going to the third wave. So what is important? Let's have a look. All right, this is the highest point of that wave, and as you can see, we come down, we test it, and then we move up. And also when we take out the Fibonacci retracement tool, all right, so okay, so this wave started around, I would say, that point, really moving upwards. So when we take it out, again, we come down to the 78% retracement level. Now this is the next and the fourth wave of the last bull market, going all the way up to $20,000. And yeah, so when did that wave start? So I would say somewhere around this point. So really starting to move upwards, so somewhere from there on. And then we do it like that. And again, what you can see is we come very close to the 78% retracement level. So, and now, after that wave, we're in the bear market. And then we see the valley. And again, very close to the point where we are 1 year before the next halving. So this is the current wave. All right, again, we see Bitcoin jumping over the edge. All right, and now when you say, okay, it jumped over the edge, what you can say is, if this is the highest point, so we take a line, put it right like that. So what you can see is Bitcoin came down, tested this level, so this is the lowest point, moved up. Now came down, again is testing it, and starts to move up. All right, so something that is very similar to what we've seen in the last bull markets. So this is an indicator for the fact that I'm saying we won't see a new low, okay? Because this is something that played out in the last bull markets, and why shouldn't it play out this time? All right, so this is the big question, and a big reason for me to say we won't see a new low. And after what happened in the last days, as you can see, we're not seeing a new low. Everybody's waiting for it. Everybody's talking about the $8,500 gap and things like that, but it doesn't really fall down. And when it comes down to this point, it gets very close, but then it starts to move away. So this is something that is very important for me. Now let's have a look at the Fibonacci retracement tool. So when we say this wave really started, I don't know, you can say from this point or from this point. Let's say it started from this point, and we do it like that. What you can see is we come down to the 78% retracement level. And when we say, all right, it really started from that point, then we already fell below this point. All right, so this is why I think it is very unlikely to see Bitcoin make a new low. All right, it can happen. I'm not saying this is crazy to believe in something like that, but if this is something that you're waiting for and you didn't invest because you think this will happen, well, then like I showed you right now, this is very unlikely. This is very unlikely right now, and I think we have clear information during the last 10 years that everything that is happening right now is very, very similar to what we've seen over the last 10 years. So this is very important to understand what is going right now. Now the question is, what will happen when this thing breaks out? All right, so when we say this is our falling wedge, what will happen? So like I said, I think that it will move upwards, and in the next 24 hours, I think this is very likely that it will move upwards. So these are my reasons, and I'm still saying this will move upwards. Now what could happen is, like I showed you with the first wave of the last bull market, we could see Bitcoin come all the way up. So I go to the 4-hourly chart. That's a little bit more easy. So I think what could happen is that Bitcoin breaks out of this falling wedge upwards and then comes all the way up to this green line. Now why this green line? Because it is the neckline. It is the neckline of this head and shoulders reversal. All right, and in my previous videos I've been talking a lot about this head and shoulders reversals or head and shoulders formations. They play a big role inside of this channel that we're in right now. And again, we have a head and shoulders reversal, a sign for a trend reversal from bearish to bullish, and all these informations tell me that we will move upwards. Now, like I said, what could happen is we move to this neckline and get or find a big resistance, then come down again, and then start to move up again, and then we break this main trend line, we move upwards, we break this neckline of this head and shoulders reversal, and then we see nice gains. Now, the thing is, when we see this kind of sideways movements with this smaller waves, then what could happen is that when we break this main trend line down at these points, then we will see a big move upwards. All right. Now, why I'm telling you that? It's the last thing I want to show you today. When we go back to the first wave of the last bull market, then you can see what I'm talking about. So as you can see, after the third test, we started this kind of sideways movement that we're seeing right now with little waves. And when we broke this main trend line, as you can see, we made 42% gains. 42% gains. So this is something that could happen when we move sideways to the main trend line. All right, and we could see a huge or a big move upwards, and then we will get this 25 or 30% correction after this consolidation when the altcoins start to pump. So this is something that I've talked about already, but I will talk about it when we break the main trend line. Okay, because I think for the moment this is everything you need to know. And yeah, I mean, the last thing that I want is that someone is sitting there when Bitcoin starts to move upwards and says, I was waiting, I was wishing we get a new low, and now I have my entry point around $11,000-12,000. All right, so yeah, and even if we fall down to $8,500, well, I don't care, because I think we already found a nice entry point at this point right there, so around $9,000. So this is very good for us. And yeah, like I said, I think this is the best strategy to buy in now, because we're already very low. And when we fall even lower, then okay, you can buy in at that point again, but only waiting for this point without investing right there, I think this is a mistake. I wouldn't do that, but well, at the end, everybody makes his own decision. So thank you very much for your attention. Thanks everybody for subscribing, for giving a thumbs up, for the comments, for everything you're doing in the Discord channel. This is fantastic and really makes me happy. I hope this is helpful. Please give it a thumbs up, write in the comments what you think about it. Yeah, and have a nice day.